Hi, I'm Katie Began. This is just a little overview about EHD 170, which is final student teaching. Thanks for being so flexible. I know it's difficult to find time these days, especially at the beginning of the year. So I'll try and make this brief and then give some resources so that you have it if you need it. So the biggest thing about EHD 170 compared to 175 or 178, 178 is the amount of hours. So you do need to complete 420 hours this semester, and so they recommend 4 full days plus a flex day. So whatever that looks like to you. In my experience, what has been, I guess, the easiest for people is I recommend front loading some hours. So starting off at 5 days a week while your course load is light, and then utilizing flex days later. That's what I would recommend. People get sick, they can't go to school, cars break down, and so when you front load the hours, you have just a little bit more wiggle room so that you're not struggling to get hours at the end of the semester. Okay, so that's just my recommendation, but the requirement is at least 4 full days a week. Mentor expectations. If you've already been a mentor, this should be review, but just try to include your student teacher in the planning process, in the thinking process, the classroom management as much as possible. Lesson planning is obviously something that takes practice and time, but also classroom management. So if you move student A across the room, kind of explain why to your student teacher just so they get a fuller picture of what those practices look like. If you could set time aside for debriefing, especially after your student teacher has taught a lesson, you really want to continue the cycle of review. What were the strengths, the weaknesses, and things that we want to change? You want to put them in charge of parts of the day. Having a consistent schedule is not only good for the kids, but it's also nice for your student teacher and for you as a mentor to have some flexibility, maybe some team teaching, reteaching. All those things can be set aside and really utilize your student teacher as an asset to the classroom. And then, like I said, just share some reasoning with instructional practices. The FAST manual can take you to that. I'll send this out as well so everybody has this, but there's the website. I have that linked as well. That has everything that you'll need. And mentors, I recommend looking through this. So because you're in your final student teaching, you're not doing your SVP, you're doing your TSP. So it's kind of about halfway down. There you go, teaching sample project. So this is like a more intense version of the SVP. The SVP was just smaller. This is a larger version. It is an entire unit. So it's 5 lessons that go together, using the information about your students, the classroom environment, the standards, assessment styles, pre and post assessments. You'll get a lot of information on this, but I do recommend reading this thoroughly so that you understand. The subsections are all right here, and it's all connected to TPEs. I will be, for elementary, we don't score our own students, so another teacher will score yours, so you want to make sure that it's aligned with what this is asking for. And I can't proof it. So definitely make sure that if you have questions that you're asking them, but I'll give a lot more information on this. I just want to keep this in the horizon because it does come up pretty fast, the project itself. So like I said, you really want to use each other as assets in the classroom. So just kind of exploring different types of co-teaching. I know that I tend to stick to my own toolbox, but adding new tools into our toolbox is really beneficial. The biggest one that I see is station teaching being really beneficial. Parallel teaching, I have not seen it. That's when 2 teachers are teaching the same lesson to smaller groups, but it's the same lesson. Team teaching and station teaching is the one I see a lot. One Teach, One Observe is very beneficial, but we also want to, mix it up a little bit sometimes. One Teach, One Drift is great too, especially if you have students who have different academic needs. Different academic needs. You can address those needs accordingly. Evaluation. So I will be evaluating student teachers for a mid and final eval. And then I'll also be sending out emails to the mentors asking for their own input as well. And that will be included in the evals. The evals are based off of what I've seen at the mid and at the final. So think of it like as a quarter system almost, timeline wise. Some manual, the FAST manual, definitely read through that. The handbook is important as well. And then I'll take you to the website so that all parties can see. So if you go down to the multiple subject, there's the handbook is there. There is the agreements that you might need, the clinical practice agreements. And those are all PDFs. Resources, so the syllabus for me is on here, the 170. It's just they just do a blanket syllabus for the whole department. OCP's website, email is right here in case you ever need them. Say there's something wrong with placements, that's who you would contact, or anything with TK20, which you should be pretty well versed in by now. Mentor teachers, there's a mentor teacher guide right here. There's professional development stuff about, different types of teaching styles, reimbursement packet. For supervising a student. Conference interest form. There's a big conference. If your student teacher needs to go through remediation, there is a process. I have not had it happen yet in the few years that I've been doing this, but hopefully we don't have to get to a remediation process. And then any support services that you may need. So this is just for the mentors. And then TK20, it's the same TK20 you used. It's basically a digital binder. Mentors, you don't have access to this, but I do, and I can, help support. However, sometimes I can't do anything from my end, so I might just recommend emailing OCP. So since you're in your final student teaching, it's really nothing too new. The project is more, and you have more hours, but other than that, it's more about building relationships with the students and your mentor, getting new strategies, trying new things, seeing where you maybe see fit. I originally was an elementary teacher, and now I teach high school biology. So sometimes what we anticipate is our passion, like grade level wise, may be completely different than what we end up with. Also making those connections with job sites to pick up a job once you graduate. So these are all different things that you're going to be doing this year. Email is the best for me. Since I am a full-time teacher, time is fleeting, as you guys all understand. But email, I'm pretty fast on email. And then for the student teachers, we'll be utilizing Canvas. And so make sure that you're logged into that, and you'll see my class pop up. I just do a little weekly video, and I give insights, or I give kind of thought-provoking questions to answer, and we'll just go from there. But this class is more about support and evaluation. Okay? This is my email in case you need it, and then I'll send this out so that you have all those hyperlinks. Bookmark everything is what I recommend, and definitely set time aside to read the requirements. All right? Well, thank you for watching this video. I appreciate you being flexible with time, and hopefully we can have a triad meeting as the semester starts calming down a little bit, but we'll see. All right, thanks.